welcome back guys to another video. This video we're gonna do a very simple wintry landscape snow scene, and we're gonna keep it at a very beginner level. So if you are a beginner artist or advanced beginner, this is for you. We're gonna do a simple mountain here, maybe something like this. Let's give it some character. Goes up there, comes down here, and maybe we can have some ridges in this mountain, something like this. Now when we paint it, it makes more sense. So very simple sketch. Maybe this comes this way, and the bottom of the mountain is going to be very misty. We're going to have maybe a hilltop over here. Maybe we can have a tree over there, and maybe we can have a couple of trees over here. We don't want to create symmetry, so if you put one tree on this side, put two over there, or if you put two over there, put one or three over here. Don't create symmetry in your paintings. When we paint the sky, some of this sketch is going to be gone. I'm just going to put it down here so you can see even the sketching part is not really a big deal. Some trees, some evergreen trees here and there. So that's the extent of the composition. Very simple composition. We're gonna have limited palette. We're gonna use blue, black, white, maybe brown, maybe umber. So color wise, composition wise, everything is simple. If you're an absolute beginner or beginner artist, this is for you. Very easy. So let's pick up a brush, let's pick up some paint and paint this together. Alright, for the sky, I'm gonna pick up some cerulean blue, but you could use any blue that you have and you like. You could use ultramarine blue or cobalt blue. I'm gonna add some white. This is titanium white. We're gonna pick up a flat brush and just gonna go ahead and drop a simple sky. You could mist your canvas a bit with a mister bottle so the paint moves easier. Very light blue. Cerulean blue is a very beautiful blue for sky. Wiggly canvas. A little bit darker on top by applying a little bit more of straight blue. A little more blue. So we're gonna apply a little more blue on top to get a bit darker, and as we move into the horizon or down, we're gonna go a bit lighter by applying a little more white, mixing more white with our paint, and just come down here and apply a bit lighter color. So very simple sky, as you see. Alright, now with some white and a round brush, we're gonna go ahead and apply some impression of clouds. Very simple. As I mentioned, it's gonna be a very beginner level, acrylic painting. demonstration. So you're gonna keep it very simple. If you want to omit this part, you can, just leave the sky like that. But I'm gonna pick up a round brush and I'm gonna go ahead and just move my brush that way on the palette with some white, and get some impression of clouds in here. And really smooth out the bottom, fade it away into the sky. Let's do another one, maybe right by the peak of the mountain. Very simple, almost no effort, just like that. Just be mindful not to create hard edges. Just keep moving your brush and really smoothly. Here we go. As you see, the bottom is very soft and the top has a bit more texture, a little more white, just some highlights on this cloud. You could move in a circular fashion as well, or even better, paint your clouds the way you're comfortable with. If you know a better way, if you're accustomed to a better way, then do it that way. There are so many different techniques for painting clouds. Just don't watch oil painting tutorial and try to duplicate that with acrylic. It's different techniques, different paint, different medium, doesn't work the same way. Alright, we're gonna have trees over here, so maybe a few over here, maybe a couple of clouds over here. That's about it. I'm gonna keep it simple. Now you could use your finger and smooth out the bottom, just like so. Simplified. Alright, now for the mountain, we're gonna pick up some Prussian blue. Prussian blue has some black in it, I believe. But just in case, we're gonna add some black to the palette as well. And the idea behind this is to make some dark mix for the mountain, and then we're going to go ahead and highlight it with some white and light blue for the impression of the snow. So this is going to be the, let's say, the dark tone or the base coat or the underpainting, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to pick up a beat up brush. Use a brush that you don't really care for. Mixing some of that Prussian blue and black, and I'm just gonna come here and paint our mountain, at least the base coat of it. Give your mountain some character, don't make it look like a pyramid, don't go like that. Give it some character. Now, as I'm painting it, I'm being mindful of the highlighted side. So this is the highlighted side. So I'm gonna use more black down here, and maybe add some white to that Prussian blue, and paint the highlighted side a little bit lighter color. This is just to know where things are. You don't have to do that. You can just go ahead, apply your dark, and then highlight it later. We're not going to bring the dark all the way to the bottom. We're going to go ahead, create some mist at the bottom of the mountain. I'm going to show you how. It's very simple. For now, we're just going to go ahead and apply the dark here and there, and then maybe over here we have some dark, and maybe some highlights here. And maybe another ridge over here, maybe a small one, I don't know. Once we get to the highlighting, we decide what stays, what goes. And that's the underpainting for our mountain. Now pick up a mop brush, or very soft blender brush, whatever you have in your collection. Apply some white paint to the bottom of your mountain, like so. Not so much though. Go ahead with your blender brush or mop brush in a circular fashion this way. Just blend that white into your base of the mountain, and oftentimes get the excess paint off of your brush and go back and repeat the process. Don't go all the way up, just stay at the bottom of your mountain. And very softly, just like that, very softly go over it, like so. This step, if you're an absolute beginner, needs a bit practice, but you can do it. Okay, so as you see, the bottom is, I don't know, it's misty, it's kind of somehow vague. Like this, you can push the mountain back, as we don't see really the bottom of the mountain. Now I'm going to clean this brush, and I'm going to go ahead and dry it. I'm going to pick up some more white. Now this time we're going to go way at the bottom, and we're going to repeat the process. Even lighter color. And just blend it into your base of the mountain. If you feel like you need a little more paint, like I do over here, just apply more white. Maybe some of that blue as well. Just don't be afraid, just go ahead and just blend it into your mountain. And remember, we're gonna have trees over here and a fence, so and very lightly up here. Just go ahead and blend that. into your mountain. Maybe a bit more white. A bit more white over here. And just go ahead and blend it. Create some cool effect, illusion of some mist. Something that oil artists, you know, do it easily. You could do that with acrylic as well. It's misty, some misty bottom, misty base to the mountain. Alright, now for the impression of the snow, we're gonna use some white. And we're going to use some ultramarine blue and white for the shadow color for the snow. Now you could use any blue that you want. I just find it that ultramarine blue makes a better shadow color for the snow. Just my opinion. Now you might have seen oil artists use a palette knife to drop the impression of the snow. You could do that with acrylic as well if you work with heavy body paint. You may be able to replicate that, but I don't work with heavy body paint, and that technique doesn't work with the type of paint that I use. So I'm going to use a Filbert brush instead. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and apply the shadow color for the mountain. Don't cover everything, don't cover all the dark. I want to give you one advice. And don't pick up a lot of paint. Really get the paint off of your brush. Just go ahead with a little bit of paint. And let the paint break. Okay, that's I'm gonna intentionally allow the paint break, so you don't want to have like a very complete coverage of that mountain. Very lightly, the canvas and the brush does the work for you. Let it break and show some of that dark. Now we're going to do the same idea for the highlighted side. This is the side that's getting light, so we're going to use some white. And same idea, don't cover all the dark. Let it break. Now when you get the hang of this and you get better at it, you could go ahead and spend more time on it. Create more texture, more details, This is very basic level. Now this side is maybe the shadow area, so we're gonna go ahead, apply some of the shadow color here, and just blend the two areas together, just like that. And some more white. I'm gonna bring it down here. Some more shadow color here. You notice I don't even wash my brush in between. It's okay to mix in some of the colors. Doesn't matter. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply some shadow color over here. So it's like back, same idea, shadow light, as many as you want to create. maybe this area comes down here, something like this. Give it some character. And bring it down. Now if you want, you can go back to highlight that side and fix a few area, apply some more white. Second coat, you want to call it. Just tap, don't get rid of all the dark, like so, and create some impression of snow. And just blend the whole thing. So we're going to continue with the same idea, white and blue. I'm going to go ahead and complete this mountain, same technique, and then I'll bring you back for the trees, because you know, if I show you more of the process, it doesn't add any value to the video. Same idea, really same idea. As you see, any advice I want to give, don't get rid of all the dark. Those darks in there makes a lot of difference. Some of that shadow color for this side, and don't create pyramids. Give some character to your mountain. These two, I really, if you want to have any take-home message, these two. And some shadow color here. And then we're going to have some highlighted area for this side. And I'm going to continue completing this, and I'll bring you back. And at the bottom, it's going to be same idea. Just going to soften it. You can use a brush, a mop brush, or like yours truly, you can use your beloved fingers, something like that. Just blend it into the mist. As you see, or some dry brush technique. So many different things you can do. Little paint, if any, on the brush, and just go like that. Maybe some white, create some mist, something like that. All right, with the mountain done, we're going to go ahead and create land, and the lay of the land is really a sloping hill. So I'm going to pick up some ultramarine blue. I'm going to pick up a touch of black, and we're going to make a dark tone, dark value. I'm going to come up here and just slide down. Now if you see your paint is not moving well on your canvas like mine, just give it a couple of mist, some water. It moves easier. So this is the dark tone, and then we're going to go ahead, drop some snow here, just create some impression of bumps here and there. Very simple. Anybody can do this. Really not much to it. Just continuing with same colors. And that's about it. Now I'm gonna pick up my fan brush, same colors, ultramarine blue and black. Now if you want to switch the colors for your, I'm gonna drop in the underpainting or the dark value for my evergreen trees. If you want to switch the colors, you can. If you want to use raw umber, you can. If you want to even use dark green, you can. So it's up to you. This is just for the demonstration. So I'm gonna pick up fan brush, some of that paint. I'm gonna drop 2 trees over here and 1 over there. Let's just start with this one, the smaller one. Just tap, load up paint, and just tap. Come all the way to your land. Okay. It is more ultramarine blue. Load up real good. Use the tip of the brush and just tap in a zigzag motion and create some impression of pine needles and branches on this tree. Okay, this is a very simple, easy way to paint evergreen trees. Most people know. It's one of the one of the first things you learn, especially if you watch tutorials on YouTube how to paint evergreen tree. It's a basic, very basic technique. You know, extend the branches here and there. Now we can come all the way to the bottom, or just keep it that way. You know, paint some trunk. It's up to you. I'm gonna make it simple. Just gonna come all the way to our land. And as you move down, obviously branches get bigger, you know, tree get larger. I'm gonna come all the way to the land area. I'm gonna pick up some more black, some more ultramarine blue, and we're gonna go ahead, drop another one. This one a bit taller. Same technique. Come all the way down. Use the corner of the brush. Now you could push up or push down. It's up to you. Doesn't matter. Here we go. Just fixing a few. Now we're gonna drop one over here. Same idea. Maybe a little bit taller. Here we go. Now if you want to create, for example, a couple of small bushes, very simple, you can use it with, we can do it with the same brush. Maybe we can create maybe a small bush over here. Here we go. Same idea, just a smaller. Some small bushes over here. You know, you can add stuff in here. Now we can go ahead and use the same brush to apply the impression of snow, but I'm going to use a mop brush, and I'm going to show you how you could do it with this brush. Pick up some blue, some white. We're going to make the shadow color first. Some light blue. Alright, and we're going to come right here on top, just tap. And the idea is to space between your highlight and the dark value that you have over there, so you don't want to kill all the dark. And the light is hitting this way, so we're going to do the highlights on this side, on the right side. So I'm going to apply the shadow side to the left. As you see, I'm leaving some of that dark in between. Just tap and think of the how the branches are getting hit with snow. Just like that. So maybe this tree is in front of this tree, so I don't know, we have to decide which one is overlapping another. A little more shadow color. We're going to come up here and do the same thing with this tree. It's okay if you really paint them into each other, because in reality, in nature, you know, trees grow into each other, so you don't have to indicate every branch. And as you see, you know, it's starting to make some more sense. Just applying the shadow color, just tapping like that. It's not totally random. I'm thinking about the branches. You could apply your shadow color all over, and then later on we can highlight. Doesn't matter. Pick up more paint. Something like that. This is a big one. Now our bushes can get same highlight. Here we go. And we're gonna do the same thing with the land. So we can say that one is behind this one. The way you highlight things, you know, you can really change things in your painting. And we can say this one. Too much paint here. Maybe this one is in front of that one. And we're gonna drop the snow in here as well. So we're gonna apply some shadow color for these bushes. Maybe they're casting some shadow onto this land. And so the trees, you know, casting some shadow. Don't take the snow all the way into your trees, because really the bottom of the trees don't get a lot of light, so they're a bit darker. So I'm gonna get some of that dark, so borrow some of that dark, and just apply over here. So the bottom of the tree, you know, keep it a little more darker blue than this blue. So Now we're gonna have some highlights over here. As the light is hitting this side, this area is gonna get highlighted. But let's do that tree one more time. Maybe you can do more practice for you. Just tap, leave a space, tap, leave some space, leave some dark rather, tap, 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 tap. Something like that. Some more white, some more ultramarine blue, and I'm gonna go ahead and continue just tapping here. Just go ahead and take your time. Tap, tap, and cover the whole area. I'm gonna go ahead, cover the whole area just like that. No big secret. And I'll bring you back. Alright, so now that we are done with the mid-tone or shadow color, now we're going to pick up some white, same brush. If you don't have one of these brushes, you're not comfortable working with it, work with the brush that you normally work with and what you're comfortable with. And with this time we're going to pick up more white than blue. Same as we painted the tree, just going to tap. As I mentioned before, you could use your fan brush. I'm going to add a bit more blue to this paint. Yeah. You see, even though I'm not using a straight white, still it's popping, you know. So you don't really need to use a straight white for highlights. And areas that are in the shadows, just leave it alone because we have the shadow color already. And for this tree, maybe the top, it's getting some highlight, some light, so we're gonna highlight it. And we're gonna come here. Highlight this tree a bit here and there. And maybe these bushes over here. Can use some highlight as well. Maybe and we're gonna go ahead and bring some highlight to the snow. We're gonna go ahead and highlight this tree as well. Just like so, just tapping, and time to time reload. A little more white. Some more white. And in this painting we are really using a limited palette. I think we are only using ultramarine blue, white. We used Prussian blue in the beginning, but you could use just ultramarine blue. So it's a good practice if you're a beginner artist to work with limited colors. And we're going to go ahead putting this color over here, a little more blue for the shadow area. Alright, now I'm going to switch my brush to a very small, this is number 2 round brush. I'm going to pick up some white. We are done with the mid-tone. Now we're gonna, you can use any brush that you're comfortable with. Use a brush like this, use a Filbert, doesn't matter. And we're gonna go ahead, the idea is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna apply the final highlights to a few of these trees, bushes in our land, and try to capture some light. I'm gonna use mostly white, maybe a touch of blue, but mostly white. I'm gonna come up here and just tap. And create some highlights. And look at this branch. It's going that way. So apply the impression of snow just over it. Just like that. This branch is going that way, so maybe this side getting some highlight and leave the rest alone. Just like that. Just tap. Now this small brush gives me more control. You could use a bigger brush. A little bit more paint. Impression of snow. Maybe some blue, maybe, you know, sometimes you need some more shadow color, you can go back and apply some shadow color. And some more blue, white as well, again. Some final highlights. Now you see why we didn't use the straight white in the beginning. If we did that, there wouldn't be any chance to apply more highlights to these trees. Alright, now I'm going to use a Filbert brush to apply some highlights over the land, and hopefully we can call this painting done. Actually, before I do that, let's not forget about these small bushes over here, so let's apply some highlights to this one. Just tap some white paint, white color, whatever. And don't highlight all over, because then your painting looks overexposed. It looks unnatural. You know, we love highlighting. You know, highlighting is the most, I think, it's the funnest part of the painting. But you know, don't get carried away. So as you see, the light is hitting this way, and we're going to go ahead and bring some white here. And just go ahead, glaze it over. Let me get some white in a clean area of the palette, maybe over here. Maybe some water. Create some brownie. And we're gonna basically go ahead, glaze it over. Just pull your brush, your flat brush, your Filbert brush, whatever, over that area. And that would be an impression of some light. Now some of the areas, the transition between the highlight and the shadow area, it's good to, you know, get rid of all these hard edges. And I'm gonna show you how I do that. Same way as we did the mist. Pick up a blender brush and just go ahead and work through these things and bring it into the shadow area. Just blend the whole thing. Get rid of the excess paint. And just like that. Again, getting rid of the excess paint, going back and forth. So the shadow of the trees are casting this way, so we're not going to highlight this area much. And with this blender brush, very lightly, we're going to go ahead and these bushes are small, so they're not casting a big shadow. So just softening some of this area over here and a little more down here, and we're almost done with this painting. And just softening a few areas. Make sure we have uniform coverage. Alright, with the liner brush, I'm just going to go ahead and tap some final highlights to the snow. Maybe to this tree, maybe it's like hanging in here, just like that. And with that, I guess we can go ahead and call this painting complete. Few highlights here and there to the snow. Maybe few spots on the mountain if we missed any spots here and there. I hope you try this painting at home, and if you do it on a larger canvas, larger scale, it will make a very nice gift. If you have someone in the family, a birthday coming up, anniversary coming up, it would make an excellent gift, or paint it for yourself. I hope you liked it, I hope you try it, and I will see you next with another painting. Take care.